This week, I'm just going to stay positive. Donovan Mitchell has just been an insane catalyst. Even when his numbers aren't incredible, like they were with the Magic, you still had him having a high assist total. In that game, Mobley was the leading scorer with 20, and Allen added another 18. But in that Magic game, the threat of Mitchell allowed Mobley and Allen to get a little more space in the paint and utilize that front court that we have. Then against the Celtics, Mitchell was incredible, obviously, but for LeVert to have 41 points in the Garden in so many clutch ways, especially in the second half with some of those three-pointers, was just incredible. And lastly, against the Knicks, Mitchell was insane, but then you add in 29 points from the bench by Kevin Love. Love alone outscored the Knicks in the fourth quarter. So the team is playing extremely well, running off of Mitchell's actions and him playing point guard, but a lot of it is just other players stepping up. They know what Donovan's going to do, but this team is so talented. It's so deep. You've talked about it repeatedly on this podcast, Adam. You could go 6, 7, 8 deep with the amount of talent, with a guy being either the leading scorer or the second leading scorer to complement the team. They know what they're going to get out of their superstar in Mitchell, and then everybody's feeding off of that with stepping up with the game plan. I've never been this secure in the types of wins the Cavs have had since LeBron left. It just seems like they're always in it.
Yeah, it does seem like they're always in it, even when it seems like they're about to be out of it. That's always the most frustrating thing about today's modern NBA game anyway, because of how consistent every team now shoots the three. You've got 15-point leads evaporating in 2 minutes, less than that.
Mm-hmm.
So leads don't matter much anymore, and that, on the one hand, that isn't great because you never feel like you have anything that's comfortable in the NBA. But on the other hand, when you have a 15, 20-point deficit going into the fourth quarter, you actually have a chance to win those games in today's NBA. What we could not know from not having a lot of time to see Donovan Mitchell's game is that this guy is just a winner, right? He just knows how to win, and he can make his team around him somehow pull it together. Even in a game like the Magic game, when he was shooting very poorly, he still found a way to facilitate 8 assists and get the team moving the ball and scoring when they needed to. I see a field general. I see a guy that understands the game at a high level, maybe even at like a 10, 12-year veteran kind of level. He's confident on the court. He's strong. Whenever I see someone that reminds me of Jordan's overall game, I have to point it out. And Donovan Mitchell, over the last 5 games, except for the Magic game, has been Jordan-esque. He's putting up the type of numbers that I witnessed through those 3 years that Jordan won 3 rings. And he's turning a Cavs team from a team that was predominantly an inside-out team now to an outside-in team where they're shooting threes more than shooting anything else, but we're consistently up in the mid 40% range most of these games from 3. And if we do that, we're going to be a playoff contender. We're going to possibly go to the finals playing like that. And again, we're going to be excited today. We're going to be talking about all these things and acting like, it's the end of the year and we've got these stats still. But that's the excitement of what's possible, that this team is 75% healthy, and yet we're already moving from the top 10 into the top 4 power ranking position, right, which we'll talk about in a little bit. We're seeing such amazing strides just over the first 6 games, and what a difference between last year's first 6 and this year's first 6. And last year's first 6 were pretty good, right? We were in the top 8 defensively. We were on the West Coast, on a tough road trip, and we were proving to the league that we should be taken seriously. But this team is proving to the league that we are one of the best. And Kendrick Perkins has to be pretty happy right about now. What else did you see? I know for me, The Magic game was a little underwhelming. I thought we saw some discrepancies, or not discrepancies. I thought we saw some issues with our roster, some positioning issues, matchup issues that could be a problem moving forward. Almost every game that we've won, we really should have lost it, especially the Celtics game. Statistically, we should have lost that game. We had 18 assists to their 28. The Celtics had 54 points in the paint, which was 6 more than we had. But they committed 4 more turnovers than we did. And overall, it was our three-point percentage that got us the win. It was 45.7% from 3. So there's just a lot here. Let me kick it back to you for now.
With that Celtics game, it was definitely a rare game where you had so many numbers that were in Boston's favor. But at the same time, the biggest thing that was in the Cavs' favor too was the fourth quarter, the Celtics only put up 15 points. Their superstars on the Boston team, they just weren't able to perform. That happened against the Knicks as well. The Knicks only put up 15. The Magic put up 23, but we were able to put up 30 in that game in the fourth quarter. So in the fourth quarter, it seems like the Cavs' instructions, the way that they're gelling defensively, really clicks. They're able to switch in the right ways. They're able to dictate play defensively, and they're turning that on, which I feel like last year you and I were not surprised by how good their defense was, but we were surprised at how reliable it was. Where this year, I think it's just as reliable, but it's almost scarier because it is like they literally turn a switch on and they're like, we're done. We're done playing what you thought was a basketball game. This is our game, which is also something that we see from higher end teams, where all of a sudden when they become defensively engaged, you can just see it on the faces of the opponent. They realize they've been playing at a JV level the entire game and being toyed with. They're so locked in on that end of the ball that it's just turning a switch for them, and that's definitely rare for such a young squad.
Defensively, I think there was the question of would we fall off because of the few pieces that we had to trade to get Mitchell, and would Mitchell be able to step up and be a better defender? Was his situation in Utah the reason why his defensive numbers were less than stellar, or was it because of him and some deficiency in his game? And so far, I don't see it. I mean, when he's on the court, I don't really see a problem. I think he's rotating well. He's gotten some good steals. He's doing everything that I would expect. And really, some of the more glaring things that I thought we would have defensively, they have nothing to do with Mitchell. He really has improved our team in all phases. His ability to rally the guys around him and instill the right confidence with the group, that you can tell that everybody on this team feels like if their number is called, they're going to step up and get the shot or get the rebound or make the steal or whatever it is. They have a lot of tenacity and will for only the first 6 games of the year. And if they can keep that up and take the momentum of getting these last-minute wins, these OT wins and everything, if they can take all of that all the way through the year into the playoffs, they're just going to have all of this to lean on and feel more and more confident that this is a team of destiny.
The last thing I'll add is Jalen Rose talked about it on his show. This Cavs team fits everything about Mitchell and who he is as a player more than Mitchell played with in Utah. And it's what you're discussing. It's what you're saying, which is, you have Dean Wade, you have Love, you have Okoro, Allen, and Mobley, who, when they get the ball, they want to do their best by Mitchell. And when Garland gets on the floor, it'll be a similar mindset, where he didn't really have that in Utah. He had a lot of good players, and they probably wanted to do the same, except our floor is so much higher. Every player on the Cavs, they're so young and their talent level is so high that the sky is the limit in so many ways.
Warriors of the East, I keep saying it. And it's probably nothing that Cavs fans want to hear because you have to say Warriors, but I think that's the promise of what this team could be. that we are so deep and so young and so talented. You could see us being this kind of team for 5-6 years to come. I mean, obviously not everybody's signed for that long, but it's really incredible.